Matthew chapter 8. When he had come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. Behold, the leper came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Then Jesus put out his hand and touched him, saying, I am willing, be cleansed. Immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Jesus said to him, see that you tell no one, but go your way, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded as a testimony to them. And when Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him, pleading with him, saying, Lord, my servant is lying at home paralyzed, dreadfully tormented. Jesus said to him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled. And he said to those who followed, assuredly, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. I say to you that many will come from east and west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, but the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then Jesus said to the centurion, go your way, and as you have believed, so let it be done for you. And his servant was healed that same hour. Now when Jesus had come into Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother lying sick with a fever. So he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and served them. When evening had come, they brought to him many who were demon-possessed, and he cast out the spirits with a word, and healed all who were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, he himself took our infirmities and bore our sickness. When Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave a command to depart to the other side. Then a certain scribe came to him and said, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. And Jesus said to him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Then another of the disciples said to him, Lord, let me first go and bury my father. But Jesus said to him, follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead. Now when he got into a boat, his disciples followed him, and suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and awoke, saying, Lord, save us, we are perishing. He said to them, why are you so fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose, rebuked the wind and the seas, and there was a great calm. So the men marveled, saying, who can this be, that even the wind and the sea obey him? When he had come to the other side, to the country of the Gergesenes, there he met two demon-possessed men coming out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that no one could pass that way. And suddenly they cried out, saying, what have you to do with you, Jesus? What have we to do with you, Jesus, you Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time? Now a good way off from there was a herd of many swine feeding. So the demons begged him, saying, you cast us out, permit us to go away into the herd of swine. He said to them, go. So when they had come out, they went into the herd of swine, and suddenly the whole herd of swine ran violently down the steep place into the sea, perished in the water. Then those who kept them fled. They went away into the city and told everything, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they begged him to depart from their region. So, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to talk a little bit about a few select verses. The cost of discipleship. Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." So many times we don't understand what it costs to be a disciple. A disciple follows where the master leads, and our master knows the homeless. He seeks after them as if lost sheep of Israel, those who are downtrodden. If we would follow Christ, we must have as much compassion as Christ had for them. And we have to do it with a spirit not like Judas, that says that we need to feed the poor for our glory, but we need to feed it because we want to glorify our Father. Our light should shine so that men can see the light that God has given us and praise him for it. Verse 21, another of his disciples said, "Lord, let me go first and bury my father." But Jesus said to him, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." Spiritual state of this man's father, he was dead, he was gone. But even in death, this man was putting his father's funeral before following the Messiah. It's a sacrifice that some of us find very hard to bear, but there's going to be times in our lives where it's more important to follow Christ than to see to the needs of our family. That is the cost of discipleship that we all have to be willing to pay. It's a very high cost, but it's a cost that's worth paying. Furthermore, now when they had gone into the boat, his disciples followed him. Suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, "Lord, save us, we are perishing." So many times in life, our lives are on a boat traveling to an unknown destination, and we are just suddenly surprised by a storm that we had no forewarning of. A clear night sky of sailing has turned into a tempest that we feel like we're about to die. And the question that you need to ask yourself when you're going through this, and we all feel it, I failed it when I was in the hospital this past year, November and December, I failed it. I was in the midst of a storm, holding on for dear life, such pain and torment and anguish that I have not felt before in my life. And I was frantic for the Lord. I was asking him to go ahead and release me from this life. But those that are secure in the Lord follow Jesus. And what was Jesus doing? During the storm, he was asleep because he knew that God was going to take him to the other side. He knew that it wasn't time for his ministry to end. The same way, when you're confronted with adversity and things look bleak, have faith that God is there next to you in that boat. Those disciples should have known that they had the Messiah, the Son of God, with them. And he could calm the storm at any time, but they had no faith. Continuing in verse 26, but he said to them, Why are you so fearful, O you of little faith? If Christ is the one that's leading, we need to trust. And the moment we don't trust, that's when we're going to cry out to him in a way that shatters our faith. But he's right there, and he's faithful. He's faithful to come and calm the sea and to deliver us. We have to keep pressing in into him, waiting on him for his deliverance, for his healing, for his will in our lives. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. So many times we have to remember and remind ourselves that the Lord is in control, not only of pleasant weather, but the storm as well. And because he is the master of all, we need to have faith that he has a plan and a purpose for everything. And the apostles said, so the men marveled, saying, who can this be that even the wind and the sea obey him? Who do we serve? Do we serve a man that can do wondrous signs, or do we serve the Son of God? Now moving on to the demon-possessed men. Again, come to a place probably of Gentiles who were herding swine. And they, two demon-possessed men, obviously in pain, suffering, crying out. And he cast the demons into the pork and the swine. And it's a very interesting reaction we have when these two men are delivered. And those who kept them, the swine, fled. They went away into the city and told everything, including what happened to the demon-possessed men. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. When they saw him, they begged him to depart from their region. Now, these people had lived with these two demonic possessed men on their doorstep, right by where the pigs were being herded. And they never had a problem. They never even worried about solving the demons on their doorstep. But when Jesus came and delivered the men, rather than rejoicing in their healing, what was their first concern? My first concern were the pigs that were used to deliver these men from demons. It's an interesting thing also. I often think these two men, why were they delivered? Obviously, these demons, they love destruction. They want to see the ruin of who they possess. They want to see them utterly drowned and dead in the sea. But yet, these two men weren't destroyed, but by God's grace, they were delivered. They suffered all of that to that day, so that there might be a mighty testimony of Jesus Christ. Anyway, I think that's all I can give you. Could go into a little bit more, but that's the points I wanted to hit for Matthew chapter 8. Till next time.